Well, welcome back to the channel. So today, as promised, I'm going to put the TEMU Survival pack that I bought 2 for 1. $35 is what I spent for 2 of them because I got that 2 for 1 deal. But I'm going to put it to the test. I'm not very hopeful in some of the items. They didn't appear to be very well made, as I said before in that short video that I did a couple months back. But I'm in Alaska. It's cold. Could get colder, but I'm along an old grade, and this is what we're going to do. I added a couple of items to the pouch. There's the pouch that I bought. I also bought these. I love these things. I don't know if you can read it. They are Wicey wipes. So basically they're dried and compacted towels. If you get them wet, they swell up to the normal size. It's just a small tube, but I recommend keeping these in your vehicle or in your hunting pack, just because you never know when you're going to need a wipe to wash your hands or your face or other parts of your body, and they're relatively inexpensive. The other thing I got from TEMU was this so-called survival knife. I'm not very hopeful in it. It does have a small light on it, and it's got a ferro rod in there. It's really stuck in there. So I don't know how much I like that. I mean, I don't think it's gonna fall out anytime soon. I can't even get it out. It's got a small button compass on it. It seems to be pointing pretty accurately with the way the train is here. And of course it's got the made in Portland, Oregon, USA Gerber knife in there. So it's got a spot for striking the ferro rod right there. It is relatively sharp. I added that. The sheath is pretty good. Again, I don't like the ferro rod that tight. It also has a cutter right there that's pretty sharp. That'd be great for cutting 550 cord or any other cordage you have. And so I like the sheath, which is made in China, obviously, but at least the knife's a good knife, or fairly good knife. I also bought this supposed survival hatchet. It comes with a hard case that you just slide it over and open it up. It's not very sharp at all, so we're going to put it to the test cutting some stuff. This part here is pretty sharp, so we'll see how that goes. It also comes with a small device here, a small ferro rod with a whistle, which works. So we'll see how that works. I have to scrape the coating off the thing. Yeah, this knife is not going to, or the hatchet will not work on doing this unless you use this tool down here, and that's not even going to work. So I don't know why you got a ferro rod with a tool that you can't use, but ferro rod's a ferro rod. I'm sure the knife will work. The sheath's kind of nice. It does latch in there, snaps in. It's pretty tight. It's got a belt thing, quick on and off belt catch on it. Not too bad. Let's get into the pack and we will see what we can use. So we went through this before. Survival tent. There's the fire starter. So we're gonna put that to the test today. There's another ferrule rod with a striker. We went over that before. We're going to put that to the test today. The 550 cord or paracord bracelet with the compass whistle, and it's got a mini ferrule rod in it, and that one actually works. I don't know if you can see the sparks coming off, but they're coming off. Thing about these is my 10-year-old daughter makes them exactly like this, and for $8 is what she sells them at the farmer's market in the summer. So if you're interested, send us a size in my email listed below, and be $8 plus shipping wherever you're at in the United States only. So let's get on with it. I'm gonna get some wood processed with the hatchet first, put it to the test, and then we'll go from there. This is dead wood, so it's pretty springy, but this thing doesn't even want to cut. And look at that. In the bottom of the handle, I didn't even know that was there. There is a saw. Look at that, and it just come flying out of there when I was utilizing it. See how this, if the saw works any better. It's dry wood. Not on dry wood very good. Let's try it on something green. Well, it cuts. I guess if it's in a pinch, you could use it. But it's not a very good saw. I wouldn't spend the kind of money for this particular thing. The hatchet's dull, doesn't want to cut. The saw doesn't cut very well. I guess small stuff you could do, but that, my friends, I think is a fail for a survival hatchet. So the next thing we're gonna try is the wire saw that comes in that little pouch. I'm not a big fan of wire saws. Obviously, if you get them, you can put a stick through that so you're not using your finger, but I'm just going to use my fingers for right now and see how it cuts on dry wood. It wants to bind in there. Now it will work on green stuff, but dry wood, which is what you're trying to get for a fire, it doesn't want to cut. So if you're just cutting boughs to put down for sleeping, I guess that would be fine. They do make better versions of these. They got like a chainsaw teeth on them. Those would be much better than this thing, even though it's small enough to carry in your pocket with no weight at all. I'm not a fan of it, especially if it's going to bind like that when you're cutting. So, but as you can see, it did cut. And that's a couple of short poles. So for dry wood, it's a fail. Right. I went in, these do not come with batteries, so I went and put some batteries in it before we came out here. It does not have a magnet in the bottom. The light itself is okay. Two types of light. You got that you can hang up for in your shelter so you can get some light. It's not bright at all, but it's better than nothing. This I wouldn't buy. I think it's too cheaply made. So that's in my mind is not a good thing. But if you're carrying something in your car for an emergency, I guess you could get by. The compass that comes in the kit, again, it's okay, but it's showing different than the button compass. Because there would be north, and it's pointing to south, so it's backwards. Not a good idea. Gotta have something reliable. That compass is a fail. The spork, it has a whistle on it. It's loud. Has a small knife that is so dull you might be able to cut some butter with it. It would take some serious sharpening to get that going. Again, I wouldn't buy it. I mean, I just did buy it, but I mean, I wouldn't buy it. If I was putting together my own pack, I'd buy something a little bit better. Another whistle. I guess you can't have too many whistles. Another light. This light's better than the other one. It's a push button light. It's got a clip on it, so you can clip it on something. And you can zoom it in and zoom it out. I don't know if you can see that in the snow, but it does zoom. It's a little bit smaller to wider. That's okay. It's always nice to have some small lights. On a side note, back to the hatchet, while I was trying to process some firewood to build a fire with. A dull hatchet is dangerous, but I still tried to use it just to make sure my assessment was bad. And instead of cutting the stick, it broke the stick, which came up and gave me a bloody thing. Good thing I got glasses. So again, dull hatchet, dangerous. Fishing stuff, we can't try that now. Everything's iced over and I don't have a spot to go ice fishing. A little bit of cordage. I mean, there's not much there at all, really. I don't even know why, unless you're going to use it to tie something on the outside of the thing. These little things, worthless. This carabiner would be okay for anchoring your shelter, pulling your line across the top, your cordage across the top to anchor a shelter. These things are worthless. I mean, basically, they fit on the top of a water bottle. I brought one with me, like so. And but see, it doesn't even fit properly. So wouldn't buy it. This knife here, again, it's another cutting tool. It's okay, it's not real sharp. It's got a little clip there, little pocket clip. It's always nice to have extra knives. These things, again, I guess pliers would be okay for some things. I carry with me my spool of tripwire. I use it for setting snares for rabbits and stuff and squirrels. So this would come in handy for cutting it, obviously, but that's about it. So far I'm batting 1,000 on stuff that's kind of useless. I showed you this before. It's the little shovel. Not much good in my other video. And we got a little emergency blanket here. We'll open that up along with the tent after we build a fire. First aid kit, which is full of band-aids. I'll show you. Tiny scissors that are worthless. Tiny tweezers that are worthless. Bunch of safety pins. Those are okay, but a whole bunch of bandages and some alcohol prep pads. I like those. I would go in and add a few things to this little pouch. It's always good to have band-aids when you're in the field. Do something silly like I did with trying to process dry wood. Some more cordage in here. This one would be fine. Its length is fine for a ridge line to hold up your shelter. But I'm a fan of paracord because you have your inner stuff. This may have 1 or 2 strands in it, but are not enough to do anything with. So glow sticks or chem lights, whatever. And then just some stupid stuff in here. A poncho that's thinner than a Ziploc bag. And some sort of waterproof case for my cell phone. So I think the next process is just to get a fire going. I've already processed some stuff, as you can see. I've got some grass, dry grass on top, some smaller stuff, and then some base sticks right there. Now, if I was going to make a fire for any length of time, you know, I'm going to stay the night in, I'd actually have more of a base down here than what I've got. So this twine comes, excuse me, comes wrapped up. Let me adjust the camera a little bit. Comes wrapped up into several different strands. So I'm going to use just one of them. Put the rest in my pocket so it stays dry. And fray it up. That's going to go there. I've got my dry grass ready. And I got a bunch of my smaller stuff ready off to the side here. So let's see if we can get this thing going with the ferrule rod that comes in it. There it goes. Well, let's try it a different way. Let's just put it in there. It's not very good fire starter. I don't like this string. I'll try the back of the knife. Much better. Well, this stuff is a fail. It's absolutely worthless. I'll have to get something that's coated in some sort of paraffin, something like that. So I don't know if the other camera got it before it died, but I just used a normal cotton ball, not impregnated with anything. Just used a cotton ball and it lit right up. The jute cord dry that's in the pouch and the jute cord with paraffin wax on it is absolutely worthless. Standard cotton ball worked just fine. Got me a fire going in about 3 strikes. Now I like to do cotton balls that are coated in Vaseline because they stay waterproof. Now I like to use a cotton ball that's coated in Vaseline. That's what I try and carry in my hunting pack in a Ziploc baggie, because it seems so light and it lasts a lot longer when it's burning with a ferro rod, utilizing that method. There you go. At least I can get something going with that ferro rod that's in the kit, so it's not a total loss, even though it came apart on me once. So now let's check out the other items. Okay, first things first is let's look at this emergency shelter. And yeah, I do have my fire still going over here. As you can see, I'm not making a big fire. It's just going to burn up those twigs that burn out. It does come with some string inside of it. This thing is thin as can be. I think it would be good for making your baked potatoes in. Basically, it's a tube. Open at both ends. You should run your line through it and hold it up and then crawl in it. I can think of a whole lot of better things to carry with you that are just as light as this, that are stronger. I'd be afraid it would tear. But in a pinch, you can get in it, or even put it on the, doubled up like this, put it on the roof of your shelter to help reflect heat from your fire back on you, and then put something heavier over the top. So that's how I would probably use it, make a regular shelter and put this over the top, kind of waterproof it and reflect the heat back on you. So that I wouldn't buy if I had to go out and buy something. Let's look at the emergency blanket. These things are really cheap at Walmart. I don't know. You can buy them yourself. It's always good to have maybe one or two in your pouch so you can wrap around in it. This one's not very big and you can actually see through it. I can see the camera. You can see through this thing. Not even big enough to cover yourself with. The wind's not helping. But it will help retain some heat. So I have several of these. I do carry them because something's better than nothing. You could drape it over you and have a small candle there to help bring the heat up. Or, like I said with the other, you could use it as reflective for reflecting the heat of the fire back on you, because this far away where I'm at with that fire, and we're good 3 or 4 feet away. If I turn it this way, that heat is just bouncing in here. I mean, it's really bouncing. So utilizing it that way, this is good. It's pretty thin. Like I said, you can actually see through it, which is amazing to me. But it does reflect the heat back on you. So, lastly, this little silly shovel thing. I don't know if you can see with the glare of the sun. Let's turn. It's supposed to emulate the military entrenching tool that many of us that have been in the service had. I still have one, a real one. I'm afraid, as cheap as this thing is made, if you hit anything hard, it's going to break. The button compass in the top doesn't work. It sticks. I guess if you're in soft ground, you could dig a small hole to do your business in. Those are dull. If you're carrying bottles around to you can open your bottle caps. Absolutely worthless. It's too small. It's smaller than my hand. The pick side of it. I'm going to hit the frozen ground just to see if it holds. A couple of hits into the ice and it bent right over. Absolutely worthless. And I wasn't even hitting it that hard. It's cheap metal. Too small. If you're going to carry one, carry a real one. Don't carry this thing. So, this is a quick down and dirty video coming out and drying this stuff. I'd rather try it this way and see that it is actually no good than have it in my car and have an emergency happen and have to rely on it. Is there a few good things in there? Yeah, I could get away with using that ferro rod. The band-aids are always good. It's always nice to have a couple of flashlights. But other than that, it's definitely not worth $35 they sell individual ones for. I got it for $17 because I got 2 for 1. So I got 2 packages of junk. I don't know what to say, but I'm going to enjoy some of my pemmican I made a year ago. It's cold out. It'll give me some energy, and it keeps. You can see I roll them up small into little round things and cover them with cellophane and then tin foil. It's really good. If you want to know how to make it, you can go back in one of my videos back to my library and you can see where I made, how I made this. This is actually moose meat. So with that said, God bless. See you on the next video.